Here are 6 English words that are stronger than bad. What's up, my friend? This is Coffee with Kaizen number 7. Hope you're doing all right this morning. And in this episode, like I said in the intro, I'm going to be teaching you 6 English words that are stronger than the word bad. Now, you know what I always say, we're not going to waste any time. Let's get right into this episode. So, word number 1, awful. Awful. A-W-F-U-L. Awful. Now, the definition of awful is very bad or unpleasant. Another definition is extremely shocking or horrific. So let me give you an example. This food tastes awful. This food tastes awful, right? This food tastes very, very bad. It's very unpleasant. There's absolutely no pleasure when I'm eating this food. Another example. Her apartment smells awful. Man, her apartment smells awful. So the context I want you to understand, or the idea I want you to get about this word, is a lot of times we'll use it to describe food or drinks or smells or things like that. Anything that when you experience it, just naturally you and your body go, ugh, like, ugh, that's awful. Like, God, it's awful. Now, there are other times when somebody would say, like, you're an awful person or something like that, because, again, it just means very bad. That's the true meaning of this word. But a lot of times we'll use it with smells and food and drinks and feelings and things of that nature. Anything that makes you go, ugh, just fucking awful. You see what I'm saying? All right, word number 2 on the list is mediocre. Mediocre. M-E-D-I-O-C-R-E. Mediocre. Now, the definition of mediocre is of only moderate quality, not very good. Okay, so again, the opposite of good. It's just bad. It's just a stronger word or a more specific word, let's say. So here's an example. He did a really mediocre job. Like, man, he did a really mediocre job. Maybe somebody who built your house or working on your car or whatever it is, somebody who was doing a job did a mediocre job. They didn't do a good job, didn't do a satisfactory job. It was mediocre. It was below average. It was bad. You see what I'm saying? Low quality. So another example, you could say, I don't like Microsoft. They make mediocre products. Now, I don't like that company because they make mediocre products. They don't make good products. They're cheap. They're of low quality. They're not very good. So in this case, the word mediocre, a lot of times we'll use it with things like performance or products or things like that when we're talking about the quality of something or the level of quality. You see what I'm saying? That's a mediocre product. That's mediocre performance. It's not good enough. You see what I'm saying? It's bad. That's the idea. All right, word number 3, terrible. Terrible. T-E-R-R-I-B-L-E. Terrible. Now, the definition of terrible is extremely or distressingly bad or serious. Another definition is extremely incompetent or unskillful. So let me give you an example of the first definition. That movie was terrible. That movie was terrible. I mean, like, extremely bad. Now, that's not necessarily a serious situation just because the movie was bad. Don't have to take that too seriously. But the idea is that it's just extremely bad. Extremely bad. Similar to awful, also has the idea of extremely bad, right? Now, an example of extremely incompetent or unskillful, I could say he is a terrible manager. He's a terrible manager. He's an incompetent manager. He's not a skilled manager. He is not good at what he does. In fact, he is extremely bad at what he does. He is terrible. Okay? Next word on the list, number 4. Disappointing. Disappointing. Now, one little pronunciation detail here is, first let me spell it for you, then I'll explain. Disappointing. D-I-S-A-P-P-O-I-N-T-I-N-G. That's a long word. Disappointing. Okay, so you see there is a T in that word, disappointing. But a lot of Americans, in my experience, we don't really pronounce the T like a hard T. It almost becomes an N, or it just disappears completely. So instead of saying that is disappointing, I would say that's disappointing. Disappointing. So there's no T in that word when I say it. It's there, but I kind of just ignore it. It's like the black sheep or whatever of the word. It's not there. So just, I brought that to your attention because it happens all the time with so many different words. And I'll try to bring that to your attention more in future episodes. But let's get back to the word. Disappointing. The definition of disappointing is failing to fulfill someone's hopes or expectations. The example about the movie, right? That was a terrible movie. Maybe the ending is what made it terrible for you because the ending was so disappointing. You wasted 2 hours of your life for this really bad ending, this poor ending, and it disappointed you because you were hoping that it was going to be good. And at the end, it was bad, right? Another example, they've made a disappointing start to the season. So let's imagine you're a soccer fan, basketball fan, whatever it is, new season, 2021, you're all excited, and your team loses the first 9 games. Obviously not good. That's very, very bad. It's disappointing because you as a fan have these high hopes, right? Your aspirations, your hopes, your expectations of your team are very high, very positive, and they lose 9 games in a row to start the season. That's a disappointing start, okay? I'm sure that makes sense. So word number 5, shitty. Shitty, S-H-I-T-T-Y. Now, just so you know, this is a rude word and it's kind of considered like vulgar slang. It's not something that you would use every day or with anyone, just so you know. Shitty. So the definition of the word shitty, when you're talking about a person or an action, is contemptible or worthless. And that second word is a better definition. It just means worthless, not valuable at all because it's so bad. Now, if you're talking about an experience or a situation, it just means very, very unpleasant or awful. So let me give you some examples. Number 1, her music is really shitty. God damn, her music is really shitty. Why don't you like that artist? Because her music is shitty, bro. It's trash. I don't like it. It's really, really bad. You see what I'm saying? Now, if we're talking about an experience, for example, that's a shitty way to treat somebody. That's a shitty way to treat somebody, man. That's a very, very unpleasant, awful, poor, negative, bad way to treat somebody. So in the first example, we're talking about the quality. Her music has no value. It's worthless. It's shitty, right? In the second example, we're talking more about an experience or a situation. That's a shitty way to treat somebody. A very unpleasant and awful way to be treating another person. So just in case you haven't really noticed it, the word shitty comes from the word shit, S-H-I-T, which has multiple meanings, but just understand that in this case, it's something bad. It's trash. It's terrible. It's all negative. The word shit in almost every case is not positive. Okay, so the word shit comes from shitty, and that's why we can use it in that way. All right, so last we're on the list, number 6, whack. W-A-C-K, whack. All right, now this is also considered slang. Like if you use this in certain cases, people might not understand you. It just depends on where you are and who you're talking to. I'm almost positive that everyone understands the word shitty, but whack, I can't say with certainty that everyone's going to understand this word. But the meaning is just bad or inferior. That's the definition of whack. So, for example, that song is whack as hell. Man, that song is whack as hell, bro. I'm not listening to that shit. That song is shitty. It's whack as hell, which means it's really, really, really bad. And just to explain really quickly, the phrase as hell in that sentence, that song is whack as hell. As hell is just a way to put emphasis on an adjective in English. So if I say that song is whack as hell, that song is whack, but it's super whack. It's extremely whack. So another example is, man, that guy is funny as hell. Or that movie was exciting as hell. These aren't the best examples, but when I use the words as hell right after an adjective, it's a way of putting emphasis on that adjective. Hopefully that makes sense. And understand that the word hell, in most people's minds, is a curse word. So just be careful when you use that because you might not want to use that at work with your boss or, you know, somebody's grandparents or something like that. Just so you know, it is considered like a bad word. All right. But back to the word whack. Here's another example. Rappers these days are so whack. Man, these rappers out here these days, these new rappers are so whack, bro. They're trash. They're very, very bad. They're inferior to the rappers of the past. That's the idea. They suck. Is another way of saying it. All right. Example number 3. That shirt you got on is whack, bro. Man, where you get that shirt, bro? That shit is whack. You know what I'm saying? That shirt is ugly, low quality. Take it off. It's bad. I don't like it. It's not cool. And that's really the idea that you can have with the word whack. It's just the opposite of cool. Cool is something good, stylish. Yeah, I look good. I'm cool. Whack is the exact opposite. If it's not cool, that shit is whack. All right, my friend, now you got 6 English words that are stronger than the word bad. Hopefully you understand the context in which we use all 6 of these words. But as always, if you got any questions or doubts, leave them in the comment section on YouTube or shoot me a message on social media. Do whatever you got to do to get in contact with me, and I'll see if I can help you out. But that is Coffee with Kaizen number 7 in the books. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.